So, good afternoon, everyone. Okay. uh, okay, yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is CHRISTANTO. I'm a year 3 double degree student as well, studying in computer science and job-based management. And this is going to be a sharing session about me as a student here, a non-local student, having my own perspective of what is DDP. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A feature in Zoom. Okay, I'll answer all of them in the end of my sharing. So let's start with like what I'm gonna talk about today. So there are like 4 things that I would like to talk about. The first thing is about my background, and then we talk about why I want to join DDP, and then like how is HKUST, right? And then at the end, I'm gonna talk about special experiences as a DDP student. So first of all, my background. I used my high school curriculum, my Indonesian national examination, to get into UST. I took chemistry, math, English, and Bahasa Indonesia as the part of the exam. And I went here not directly as a DDP student. I started in the School of Engineering. And then I got into computer science, which is like JS5200 for your the JUPAS code. And using my Indonesian national examination, I was granted a scholarship, 4 years renewable full tuition. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. And how I get into DDP is first I choose computer science. And then I was very, very interested and I asked them for an interview, which luckily I got. And I chose COGBM, or Computer Science and General Business Management, through the School of Engineering major selection exercise, which is done in the end of year 1. So what is DDP, right? DDP is quite straightforward, as in it's dual degree program, meaning that you can actually choose 2 degrees and you can like study in 5 years to get those 2 degrees. In total, there are a lot of combinations. I counted like 65 combinations that you can go through. You usually start from the engineering school or from the science school, or you can even start from the business school. And there are in total 12 engineering courses, engineering majors, and then 1 science major, and then there's 5 business majors. So usually you do either one from the engineering and science, and another one is from the business. The good thing about DDP right now is that you're given the chance to actually choose a specific major, a business major. So as you can see, I'm computer science and general business management. But for you guys can actually choose to a more specific field, such as economics, finance, management, and marketing. You can also see that there are a lot of DDP's enrichment program, such as the executive forums and everything else that you can see over there, which I will go through a little bit. So let's talk about me and why I'm taking computer science and general business management. I think this is kind of a personal view, but I hope that you guys can see from my perspective and hope to inspire you guys to be a dual degree program as a student as well. So first of all, what I want to do, the reason why I want to get into computer science and general business management is to have an edge. As you guys might heard, computer science is one of the most famous majors in HKUST. Like in my own circle, when I was in year 1, almost 80% of my friends want to get into computer science. And the quota is quite big considering it has like 150 seats for you guys. But what I can feel after being in the computer science cohort and everything, I realized that there are few communication skill classes, meaning that you are not able to train your presentation skill, which I think is very, very important. I really want to be good at both the technical side or the hard skill and also the soft skills, which is why I decided to join DDP. And in DDP, being able to go to like all the business courses as well, you're given the chance to train your presentation skill and also how you self-develop yourself in the way that you can present yourself. The second reason why I want to get into DDP is best of both worlds. So these are the phrases that I got from the DDP website. Be a technical engineer, be a business leader, why not both? And yeah, I think it's quite personal for me as well, since my dream is to build my own company. So I think it's good for me to have both the technical skill and also the business mindset. The third reason is about the special classes. So as a DDP student, you're granted a privilege to get into like this TE-MG courses. TE stands for technology and MG stands for management. And there are a lot of like field that you can get into. Most of them are like, let's say TE-MG 3950, which is mandatory. It's about case-based problem solving. And then another one that I'm going to explain today is International Business Plan Competition. And the last one, I would say, is extensive network. I think it's very, very nice for me as a DDP student, as I can relate to both the engineering students and also the business students. So how is UST, right? You guys might have heard that studying in HKUST is kind of hard. So I'm gonna give my own personal take on like how does it feel to study in HKUST? So first of all, I'm gonna admit that the environment is competitive, considering that HKUST only picks the best out of all the candidates. And like usually people are intimidated considering that they are very, very good, like the other people are very, very good. So how I would say is that I'm gonna use this as a motivation. I feel like being surrounded by very good people are not an obstruction to learn, but more as a motivation. And one thing that I can tell you guys is to not compare yourself with others. I think it's unfair for yourself to compare yourself with the others, since everyone has their own journey. The second point that I would like to say is that the biggest problem is usually about students not knowing what they really want. When I ask them like, oh, what major do you want to get into? They're like, I'm not sure, or maybe like, I'll just go with like CS. And like when I ask them like, where do you want to be in CS? And they can't really answer that question as well. So what I would say is that when you don't really know what you want to do, you're also unsure if you really want it or not. You have your own self-doubt. So what I would say is to set your goals, whatever it is, and break it down into smaller steps. And then begin with the end in mind, basically. The third point is about time management versus energy management. I see like people always say like, oh, I already did good. I already managed my time perfectly. I already know what to do, but still I can't really get high grades or anything like that. One reason is because I feel like personally, energy management is better than time management, because time management ensures that you have the time to do the task, but energy management ensures that you have the quality time to do this task. And probably the best way to answer this question, whether studying in UST is hard or not, is to ask yourself the question, like, do you want to be the best among the worst, or do you want to be the worst among the best? My answer would be the worst among the best. Here's why. Because being the best among the worst means that you are actually just applying what you already know. And when you make mistakes, people can't really tell you what's wrong because you're the best out of the worst. But when you're the worst among the best, you're actually given the opportunity to learn from the others. You're surrounded by people who can be your role models, and you can learn more from them. And at the end of the day, you realize that you're not wasting your time, but you're actually learning something new. And let me show you, let me convince you that energy management is better than time management by the way how I implemented it in my life, or basically socializing myself in university. So how I do socializing is to basically incorporate both academic and also social life. So here you can see that I'm in like there's like 5 things I want to explain. So first of all is HKUST robotics team. Being in the School of Engineering in my first year, and my dream is to get into computer science. One way for me to do it is to prepare myself with all the technical skills, right? And that is what I did. Yeah, that is what I did, which is basically trying to. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so the first thing I did was try to join the becoming a software member in the HKUST robotics team, and there I learned a lot. And just last summer, last year, I was like promoted to be the team leader. And just last summer, we won first place in Hong Kong and like 4th place overall internationally. So after getting into DDP, I realized that I don't want to just nurture my software skills or computer science skills. I also want to nurture my business skills, which is why I joined the International Consulting Club. There you can actually apply and do client engagement projects, which means that you actually get to interact with real companies and help them solve problems. And after 1 semester being a DDP student, I realized that I need to apply both my business skill and my technical skill, which is why I joined HKUST 2021. It's a competition where you're given a prompt or a social problem, and you try to be your best to actually create a solution that is scalable, as well as solving enough problems. And yeah, in that picture, you can see that me and my team, we won the most adoptable idea award, considering that our idea was simple yet impactful to the society. And you guys have heard about like all the academic associations or like organizations that I've been joining. And the last 2 are much more about social, much more about me trying to be together with people with the same interest, which the fourth one is the MUSTI, or Mahasiswa UST Indonesia. It's basically a Indonesian Students Association where I'm also part of the EXCOs, and it's good for me to be able to train my making events skills and like basically having fun with everyone. And the last one is HKUST Student Ambassador. It's just an opportunity for me to meet new people all around UST and getting to know how it is and their culture as well. Okay, so the last thing I would say about like socializing is you don't need to worry about not having friends in UST, because like along the 4 years that you're gonna be here, or 5 years if you join DDP, you're gonna meet a lot of people from a lot of different classes, a lot of different backgrounds. And believe me or not, there are gonna be like some people who you're just gonna fit in with. So let's talk about the special experiences about me being a DDP student, right? So there's this one course that I joined last winter, which is called TMG4960. It's the title is International Business Plan Competition, Reimagining Education Technology. So I believe that this was a perfect class for me, considering that my dream is to build my own company. And in this class, I was given a prompt, which is basically reimagining education technology and how I can create a solution or a product that I will pitch to real investors. So here I really learned how to make a startup. And here I listed like some of the things that I did. Basically is first to identify the problem, and then creating solutions, and then prototyping, and then show it to the mentors, receiving feedbacks, and basically repeat for 21 days. So this intense 21 days really taught me more than what I can ever get in my first 2 years in HKUST. So on the right side, you can see that's the business model canvas, which is what I used to prototype my idea, to see the flaws in the logic of my idea. Yeah. And talking about like the end of the class, what I did was to make an MVP, or a minimum viable product, where you can see on the right side is in the PPT. I tried to prototype the app as well using Figma. And then the last thing that I think is very important is about pitch presentation, or basically trying to sell your idea. Make sure that people can relate on an emotional basis on what is your product and what it's trying to do. And yeah, that's the end for the TMG 4960. And I'm going to continue with the survival camp. So for DDP, not only is there O camp, but there's also survival camp. And what makes this interesting and special is because this is mandatory, meaning that you and your cohort are going to be together for 3 days and 2 nights doing something called a leadership camp. And there's like 7 challenges testing your limit. So as you can see from the first picture on the left, it's like near the pier. So that's where we're gonna like build our tent and everything, do our activities. And I must say it's very, very beautiful. Not as beautiful as being in UST though, considering that we live next to the sea. In the middle, you can see like that's me and my team cheering using sodas. And like what we did was we need to cook our own food for 3 days and 2 nights, which I think is a really good team building activity, considering that communication and also preferences and toleration is like part of the deal there. And the last picture is just about a tent and like where we live there. So yeah, the main idea is just to have fun and like get to know your cohort. And the real challenge comes at the last day, where the first thing I need to do is to jump from this like high tall structure to like hit the ball. I think I can play a little bit about there. Yep, that's my friend Dorothy. She's jumping over there. Yeah. And then like going back to UST, like, okay, like, so just to give a little bit more context. So going to the survival camp, we hike our way there. But to go back, I thought we're gonna hike as well. But apparently we're gonna kayak our way back to UST. So there you can see in the middle, there's like people over there climbing through the rocks. So we're getting to the beach first and then kayak from that beach to HKUST. And yeah, remember the Dorothy girl that I mentioned in the left video? So that's her on the right side as well. So it was just me and Dorothy trying to kayak our way back to UST. And I guess that's it. That's it about me and my experiences in as a DDP student. I feel like this is just scratching the surface. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask them. But yeah, let me just convince you guys with 3 sentences. If you guys want to get the most out of HKUST, you guys should join DDP. And if you want to get more career opportunities, you guys should join DDP as well. And if you want to meet the best people in HKUST, trust me, you guys should just join DDP. So yeah, I guess that's it about me and my sharing. If you guys have more questions, feel free to ask them as well. So you can start asking now. And let's start with a quick question. What clubs did you join when you were in secondary school? So as a secondary school, I did it in Indonesia. So I don't really know if it will like um affect your your choices. But I would say it's just join clubs that you think is better for is to prepare your study pattern, especially for the 5 years curriculum in DDP. And you can also check them on the website, in DDP website, more about the curriculum pattern. Next question. Is it possible to finish the entire DDP program in under 5 years? Can I graduate early? You definitely can do that. So the duration of studies in the the DDP program can be different among different majors as well. So let's say for computer science, in total, there's only like 172 credits, but for civil students, they might have 200 credits. When do you start studying for the master's? Is it the last year? So both the degrees that we're gonna get is both bachelor degrees. There's no master degrees, but you can still continue to master degrees after your 5 years. So DDP is so attractive. How should an IB candidate prepare himself for it? I would say that considering that you're an IB student means that you have a lot of credit transfer. And with that credit transfer, you can actually chill more, as in you can actually explore more. You can take more elective courses, and you can try your best to like get in deep details about what you're gonna like study. Okay, is the student body of DDP diverse? Is it very international? Did you find it hard to fit in as an international student? So I would say that the student body of DDP is quite diverse, considering that like usually I would say that in my batch it's quite diverse. There's like students from mainland China, there's also from local, there's also from Indonesia, there's also from Philippines, and like in each cohort there's about like 30 to 40% that are non-local. Yeah. And so how do I find it? How do I find it? Do I find it hard to fit in as an international student? I would say not really, considering that we all speak in English. And then again, being a leader means that you're able to like cooperate with other people as well, and being able to tolerate the differences and actually promote diversity. So that's what I think. And I find it very, very easy to study as a DDP student and getting into the DDP body, student's body. How was the competition when joining DDP in year one? How would I say about the competition? I would say that it's different for everyone. Maybe CGA would be the first thing that you think about, but then for me, I would say that it's the interview. So different from like other engineering courses, I would say like some of them does not require interviews, but like for DDP, it is required for you to do an interview. And there you can really express yourself on like why you want to join DDP. So like you don't really need to be worried about your CGA or everything, but it's more about how you can express yourself and how you really want to get into DDP. Okay, next question. Did you have any solid backgrounds of computing and coding before you enrolled in these curriculums? Nope, not really. So what I like about being in HKUST is that you are really trained to be a fast learner. You just really need to explore your passion as well. So if you feel like computing and coding is something that you really like, you can start from now. I think it's a good thing for you to like start right now, and just try your best, I think. So how did you improve your coding skills? Any platform. I think this is like kind of specific, but you can try LeetCode. You can try W3 schools. You can try YouTube as well. I usually watch like 10 hours of like learning Python in 9 hours, basically like those kind of stuff. I watch them in like 2 times speed, and I feel like it's just how I'm trying to improve my skills. If it mentioned why you choose Hong Kong but not other countries or cities. Okay, so why I choose Hong Kong is actually yeah, let me answer this question. So I did some research. So some options for me before getting into like HKUST or Hong Kong is like first I plan to go to like the US, or I'm gonna like stay in Indonesia, or I'm gonna go to Hong Kong. But then I did some research and I found out like Hong Kong is like the the biggest international financial hub. And I feel like it's a good thing as a student, because that's where you can like jumpstart your career. And then I also searched about like Hong Kong, and I saw that Hong Kong is like one of the best student cities in the world. meaning that Hong Kong is very, very diverse, the fast pace. It's good for us young people to like explore, especially with the culinary options as well. There's like a lot of food from different kinds of like countries. And yeah, and why HKUST is quite personal as well, because like HKUST granted me scholarships, as well as HKUST being like the with the highest ranking for computer science. You say the quota for computer science major is 150. Yes, but I'm not like I'm not sure. Like as a disclaimer, I heard that it's 150, but I think like it depends on every cohort considering the demand as well. What is the major difference between computer science and computer engineering? The easiest way to like differentiate them is that computer engineering is the combination of computer science and electrical engineering. And while computer science is just like we can say like one part of computer engineering. So I look in the chat as well. What is the most popular combination of two majors in DDP? Oh, right. So I think it doesn't really matter how I answer this. It's there's no like specific major I would say, but it's more about like following your interest. Like what I said, right? You need to begin with the end in mind. So you got to start with your interest. Like, what do you want to do in life? Like for me, I want to use my I want to learn computer science because I believe that computer science is like the future, as in everything in the future requires at least programming or something. That is how I see it. But for you, it might be different, and maybe the famous one might or the most popular one might not be your align with your interest as well. So I would say just follow your passion and everything. Because in HKUSD, it's much more about you growing as a person and you trying to follow your dream. There's also a question about how I get my scholarship. I got it through admission scholarship, meaning that after you apply and then you get a conditional offer about like, oh, to get into HKUST, you need this threshold. You need to pass this threshold. But then again, there's also like scholarship stuff, meaning that for me, it was like to get scholarships, I need to get higher than 95 on average in my national examination. Yeah. So it's different for everyone. And you can just check it in sfao.ust.hk, which is the scholarship website. So yeah, do you have a business background before you joined DDP? No, not at all. But one thing I can say is that one thing that I can say is that my roommate was a JUPAS student or a global business student, and he exposed me to the business world. As in, he tried new stuff, and I tried joining him as well. And there is then is when I was like very, very interested in the business world, and I really want to be in it, which is like one of the reasons why I want to join DDP. Just to add up with my answer previously about like joining DDP and like major selection, I would say that the major choice doesn't really affect your chance of getting into DDP. It's much more about you expressing yourself and like how you are the right person to be a DDP student. Considering that the quotas aren't really that much, like in a cohort, it's usually like 40 to 50 students. So you really need to like show your effort and show that you really want to be a DDP student, I would say. So for DDP, what majors can we choose from? Okay, let me just back up to show you all the majors available. Yeah, these are all the majors available, I would say. I feel like this is quite diverse as well, and it's a good chance for you to join DDP right now. Compared to my cohort, where the business choice for me was only general business management, but for you, you can like go deeper into like a specific major. So I guess, is there any other questions? Okay. How do you know which business degree to choose from? Um, how do you know which business degree to choose from? I think it depends on your own interest. Um, I mean, like, let's say for me, if I was given the chance to choose a specific major, I would choose like finance, because I think like in Hong Kong, the banking industry is quite developed, and that is why I want to join like finance. But like for you, it might be different, I would say. And it's good for you to just do research, talk to your seniors, talk about like to like someone that you know that are in that specific degree. And like you can ask more about like the job prospect or are you happy learning it? But then again, it comes down to you and like how you wanna like live your life actually. Yeah. Is DDP really good compared to single degree? Okay. I think this is a really good question. Is DDP really good compared to single degree? It really depends on you, actually, yeah. Because like DDP comes with like a lot of privilege, considering all the exclusive courses and like the mentoring sessions, as well as the networking. Yeah, and like as a single degree, I mean like doing DDP or doing single degree, it doesn't really like define your future. It's much more about how you as a person, do you really want to get into DDP? Like what are you going to do with those 2 degrees? I think it's much better to see it that way. Okay. So is your schedule full every day? How is the campus line at HKUST and did you experience burnout by the workload? So is your schedule full every day? I'm not, I don't think so. Because like for this semester, I'm really lucky. I was able to like so I was like quite lucky for like this semester, considering that I can have a day off on Friday. So my schools only start from like Monday to Thursday. And how is campus life in HKUST? I would say it is really great, as in I'm surrounded by supportive people. Like, they understand that I'm a DDP student. So when they ask me to go somewhere with them and I say I can't, I mean like not really that I decline them, but like they understand that I'm a little bit more busy than them. Yeah. So did you ever experience burnout by the workload? I don't think so. I feel like the workload for me is still manageable, considering that I really like try my best to manage them and like the time management and energy management. I always rest. I will always try my best to rest. Is the workload of studying DDP way more higher than studying a single degree? So just to give a little bit more context. So I mentioned that being a computer science and general business management student, my total credits is around 172. Um, yeah. So I'm doing 170 credits in 10 semesters, meaning on average, I'm going to do 70 credits each semester. But for a regular student, a single degree student, you're going to need to fulfill 120 credits in the span of 8 semesters, which means that on average, you're going to do like 15 credits every semester. So 1 to 1, I would say it's just 15 credits to 17 credits. Yeah. How different is the content length between double major and dual degree? So again, double major is means that you're gonna get only one certificate and also less credits. So usually it's not really as much as a dual degree program. So if dual degree is like 170-ish or more, and double major can be like 130 or less or more, but not like the same as a dual degree. Potential career paths of DDP. So for potential career path, you can actually do a lot. You can start with like the engineering side first, or you can go to banking and finance, because like I said, the financial industry in Hong Kong is quite developed. As well as you can go to information technology, like doing tech consultant and everything, or you can be a management consultant. Yeah. You can also be a management trainee, or you can go and dive into startups. And I think the last options, if you don't want to work right after you graduate from like DDP, then what you can do next is to go further studies. Yeah. So I would say that the career paths are quite various. So it's quite diverse as well. So you can really explore. And I guess that's it for today. Um, I'm very, very thankful that you guys have given me a chance to share my own opinion and my own experience being a dual degree student. I hope that I could inspire you guys to join DDP as well. And if you are, I hope to see you in HKUST. See you guys.